So DICE have added a couple of new interesting weapons into patch 1.3.3, namely the Compensator and also Subsonic ammunition, which is supposed to act either by itself or in tandem with the suppressor to hide you on the minimap. So in this video, I'm going to take a look at both of these options here, what they can be used for, and overall if subsonic ammunition is worth it, because it does come with quite a few deficits. If you guys enjoy the content here on the channel, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date with everything Battlefield 6. Without further ado, let's just jump straight into how you actually unlock these. So as usual, it is under the challenges tab under seasons. Come to season 3 hardware. It's pretty easy. You just get some kills and assists, deal damage with primary weapons, and then for the subsonic ammunition, you need to get kills and assists once again. So essentially, just play the game. You'll almost certainly already have unlocked these, even if you didn't notice them. So let's begin here with the subsonic ammunition, as that is arguably the more interesting of the two attachments, although they do couple well together in some cases. And this one is available for, first of all of the SMGs here, but then for the carbines, also 3 of these, the M417A2, the SG553R, and the SOR 300SC. Now, there's really 2 different ways you can use subsonic ammunition. You can either couple it with a suppressor to further reduce the range at which you can be seen on the minimap. So if we take a look at the stats here, most people are going to be using a CQB suppressor or the Lighten suppressor. Those are generally the most 2 integral parts of a build, is going to be the suppressor there. And the main reason is because it hides you off of being 3D spotted down to 0 meters, and then also the 2D spot, which is on the minimap, that will only show up to 21 meters. So in Battlefield 6 and Battlefield games in general, being hidden on the minimap is extremely important, and that is why people generally tend to go towards a suppressor in the game. Now, subsonic ammunition costs 5 to 10 points for most of the high-powered, I would say better SMGs in the game, such as the SCW-10. It's going to cost you 15 points in total, so that's 10 more than the standard ammunition. For most of the worse weapons, it's only going to cost you 5 points. So if we go on the subsonic here and equip that, you're going to notice here that the main difference is that it actually reduces the 2D spot on the minimap from 21 meters all the way down to 9 meters, which is pretty big. One of the other main factors here, though, is it's significantly going to nerf your muzzle velocity. So this is going to go down in this case, and I do have a extended barrel on this weapon from 497 meters per second all the way to 318. And if we take a quick look in the test range here, you can see this target here furthest away from us is 75 meters away, and this is sort of what it feels like without subsonic ammunition. If we go and put on the subsonic here, yeah, it's pretty slow. So, you know, that extra range or diminished range there on the minimap spotting does come at a pretty high price. Now, outside of that, one of the other things it says it does here is marginally lowers recoil. I haven't really noticed it making much of a difference, and indeed, if we go back to the standard here, you can see it's 0.6 degrees, and then with the subsonic, it's the same. Even though it says it is being reduced a little bit there, I think it's so small, it's not really even showing up in the tooltip, so I wouldn't really worry too much about that benefit. Mostly, you're just getting less of a 2D spot range and a heck of a lot less velocity. So clearly, this is really something that is designed for a close range setup on an SMG, because it's nerfing your velocity so much that the ranged gunfights are almost certainly going to be lost by you. So the question for these sorts of builds really comes down to asking yourself, is that 12 extra meters on the 2D spot on the minimap really worth cutting your velocity in half? Because it does have a big effect on the gameplay. First of all, any medium to long range situations are going to be very difficult gunfights to win now if they weren't already with a lot of the high-powered SMGs. But something else that people don't really think about is that short-range gunfights are going to be a lot harder to win as well. This target right here, the new one, is at 5 meters away, and you're actually going to hear the delay Like, that is how slow subsonic ammunition is. It may not sound like a lot, but when you factor in the netcode of the game, the differences there, you know, it only takes a few milliseconds for somebody to get an extra shot on you before you get one on them, and that can dictate the outcome of the gunfight, meaning you lose and they win just because you've chosen to go with subsonic ammunition. So it really does have a lot of drawbacks, and in my mind, the extra few meters there on the minimap don't really make the biggest difference in the world. After all, with a regular suppressor, we're already reducing that down to 21 meters. At a range of 21 meters, you're already getting other cues in the game like audio from footsteps, the gun firing sounds themselves. You can generally figure out if there's somebody around you within 20 meters without seeing somebody spotted on the minimap. Now, if you remove the suppressor entirely, that goes all the way up to 150 meters, and those sorts of ranges matter a lot more. You're going to be the eye of every single sniper on the battlefield, and at those ranges of like 50, 60, 70 meters where you wouldn't be able to hear somebody's footsteps or their gunfire, that means you're going to be able to get the drop on somebody inside of a house because they've been spotted by somebody maybe close to them. So the benefits of equipping a suppressor, in my opinion at least, I think far outweigh the benefits of adding in the subsonic ammunition. Like I said, it's not the most costly attachment in the world in terms of points. It's only 5 to 10 points depending on the weapon, but really what it comes down to is, do you want to give up that velocity? I think some people are going to find very interesting sort of stealthy builds to use with this combo here, but again, that really depends on you getting the drop on the enemy and making sure that it's not like a one-on-one you facing him gunfight, because 90% of the time you're probably going to lose just due to the slow velocity of the bullets. Now let's talk about the Compensator, because the Compensator also goes quite nicely along with the subsonic ammunition, and the role that this attachment has is it basically gives you the recoil benefits of the lightened suppressor, which namely reduces recoil buildup and improves recoil recovery at the cost of hipfire accuracy. So recoil recovery is basically your spread increase per shot. That is going to recover faster, meaning that you can burst faster and basically put more damage down range than you would otherwise be able to do so. So the Compensator just gives you that recoil buildup and recoil recovery buff without the hipfire deficit, and obviously without any of the suppressing factors here. It costs 20 points less, and then what you can do is go ahead and put on the subsonic ammunition as well, which is of course going to cost you 10 points. So if you go with this setup with a Compensator and subsonic ammunition, it's going to cost you 20 points instead of the 30 points of the lightened suppressor there. And this is how the stats look without a suppressor but with a subsonic ammunition. So for 3D spot, you will be spotted up to 27 meters away. That is going to be quite a big deal. And by 3D spotting, I mean actually in the game, whenever you fire a weapon, a little triangle will pop up over your head or a diamond and alert players around you within 27 meters exactly where you are, in which corner you're hiding on the flag or whatever. And then the 2D spot distance here is still pretty wide. It's 64 meters. And I mean, if we come into the test range here, this target all the way at the back is 75 meters away. So that is really the maximum of any gunfight that you're going to take with an SMG or any sort of automatic weapon. Anything past 75, 80 meters, there's very little point even bothering to do that. So, you know, it just goes to show there that 64 meters is a very long distance to be spotted, and I just don't really feel like using the subsonic ammunition on its own without a suppressor is really enough 2D spot range reduction for me. So I would like to see DICE actually change this. Like, let me know in the comments down below if you guys have been running subsonic without having a suppressor on there. It does feel like putting 10 points into the Compensator and then 10 points into subsonic, instead of just putting 30 points into the lightened suppressor and having all of this reduced spotting ability here with the standard ammunition, just seems like not a very good trade-off to me. Honestly, for me, I think they need to reduce the attachment point cost down to 5 extra points, so 10 points for the subsonic ammunition, because the deficit you get on the bullet velocity is just so punishing for all the weapons. And I think they should even reduce the 3D spot and the 2D spot ranges a little bit with subsonic ammo as well. I don't think it should be as good as a suppressor, obviously, but maybe bring the 3D spot range down to like 20 or 15 meters and the 2D spot range down to somewhere around maybe 35 or 40 meters. That way, using a suppressor with a 21 spot range is still going to be more beneficial than using subsonic ammunition. But right now, it feels like subsonic ammo alone or with the Compensator just doesn't really feel worth it. Now, if you guys want some recommendations for weapons that you can try this out on, I do recommend giving the SG553 a go. It has seen some nerfs over past patches, but it's still a very good weapon. And for this one, the subsonic ammo actually only costs 5 points, as it does for all of the carbines, interestingly enough. So I've actually been running subsonic hollow point ammo here, which has worked out quite well for me. As for the SMGs, it is just kind of going to be the case that some of the better ones, so the SCW-10, the KV-9, the CZ-3, all of these are going to cost, I believe, 10 points. Yeah, so Subsonic is going to be 15 for those. If you come into some of the lower damaging weapons, and the PW7, due to its accuracy, has actually been shining in this patch, again, I would recommend going with this one because it only has a 5-point cost. But there you go. I think DICE have been doing a pretty good job on filling out the attachment roster. Like, they realize what the meta is at the moment, which is, of course, basically, number one, take the light and suppressor, and then cater everything else on the weapon to whatever you need recoil-wise. And they're trying to take the main benefit there of the light and suppressor and put it on some other attachments, whilst also giving you some opportunities to reduce the spotting. But again, I feel like it's fallen a little bit short. The subsonic ammunition just isn't quite worth it. I know some people do like it, so leave me a comment down below and let me know how you've been getting on with this new ammo type. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching the video today. Don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with everything Battlefield 6, and I will see you all in the next video.